Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, David.
How's it going?
Good. You're looking nice and refreshed from the mountain air.
No, those chairs were murder again.
They're murder chairs in Banff.
Yeah. Well, you remember them from last year, I'm sure.
I didn't. I guess I don't remember them being that bad, but I
They
didn't go
just
this year.
destroyed my back.
Oh, okay.
I was doing the 90-year-old shuffle most of the time.
Did you do musical tables and aggravate people?
No, but we did bring a whole network stack with us, so we had switches and routers on our table, separate from everybody else, and they're like, "Wow, you really don't trust anybody here."
as you should at a hacking conference, right?
Yeah, as one should. Actually, just in general, don't trust other people's networks. But
yeah.
It's,
go to lunch at a restaurant and bring a router.
Yeah, right. It's one of those things. I just travel with one, which is kind of weird for some people. But hey,
whatever.
You know what? I do it for love. No, I don't know. But you want to do the thing?
Sure, we can do the thing. We want to thank the people. I don't know if the thing is up, but we'd like to thank the people on our Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/3dmakeit, these lovely people like Helge at the top and everyone else in our Patreon help support this channel. And if you want to support it, you can go to 3dmakeit or patreon.com/3dmakeit. And if you join at one of the levels, you get access to our Discord where we have nice chats. We were talking with Dominic, chatting with him. He's moving and then thinking about getting a new printer, and so we're chatting with different thoughts on printers and stuff. So we do lots of troubleshooting and other things there. And any other information you need about us, you can go to www.3dmakeit.ca.
Wow, that was some good stuff. You did it.
I did it. So, so there's some news and things, but not tons. But I thought we could just go over new releases of slicers quickly. Nothing. We won't go. We don't need to go into great detail, but just a little update. If you were to wear Prusa Slicer 2.9.1 is now available with a variety of new printers and features added. Orca 2.3.0 is officially out, and then there's a few others in beta. So like Cura is in beta for their new version, so we'll let you know when that one's out. And other than that, I didn't see any other slicer related news.
I think there's a new version of Reality Slicer too. It popped up yesterday.
Oh, did it? Yeah. I didn't see that in the feed, and I looked the other day and I had the newest one, which was like 5.9.1 at the time.
Oh, that's old news. I'm on 6.0.52 and it's popping up an update.
See, I went on to the downloads and I didn't see a download for 6.1. So
I'm gonna look again right now. Do you think once Kira did this for a while, so do you think Bruce is gonna stay on 2.9 forever instead of going to 3?
Maybe.
That drives me.
But they have at least another 100 versions before they need to switch to 2.3, because they can keep iterating the last digit.
Boo.
Well, that's what Mac did for how long? Mac OS X.
Yeah.
10 point whatever.
Yeah. Come on, Mac.
Windows 10 was Windows 10 for 6 years or whatever it was.
That was the last version of Windows ever.
Until 11.
No, it didn't happen. I read it on the internet, but it never happened. It's got to be true. Yeah, notifications are really janky on YouTube as of late. For some reason, in the last 30 days,
I
something's
noticed
changed
that too.
somewhere, and so I don't know if you could trust them. So you just have to, you know, come on by and look. But yeah, like even like with the on the Twitch live stream side when I do that stuff a couple days a week. Shameless self plug. Monday, Friday, come see. Anyway, um, when I do the Twitch stuff, it never notifies. I end up sending like a broadcast out, and then it's fine.
There was a couple of suggestions that were you go into your notifications, you switch the level, and then switch it back, and it kind of rewrites it to your YouTube profile. And I've done that for a few different sites, and then I started getting notifications again. So you can try that. But yeah,
I think too, like actually, like some of the companies are struggling just in general right now with the volume of push notifications. That is too. Yeah, there's a Windows 11. There sure is. Greg's gone. Hold on, I'll bring him back. Yeah, it's that computer, the computer on your floor, um, the
I
computer on your floor. You could totally use that one
I
on
went away
Windows
and came
11.
back. I don't know
Wait,
why.
did you ever use the computer on the floor yet? I feel it's
Oh,
not set up yet.
who Dominic?
Yeah.
I don't think he has. I think it's still in a box.
Well,
It's all ready for moving.
I asked him if he did because he's like, "There's a Windows 11." Um, Greg dropped again, and it was funny-ish.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's because I'm through an additional router or something.
I kind of know what the deal is. I think there's issues with the thing that we use. It's been pretty shaky for a lot of people, and there's a couple complaints, but we'll just keep re-adding people. So that's the way of the world right there. Now there's a couple, like, it's just still in the box. Yes, Dominic, never take it out. Keep it there. Now
It's ready. It's ready for the Florida move.
It's like a collector's edition. So like with slicers, an interesting thing's happening, and and it kind of has to do with Bamboo Labs still with that new protocol, like Orca slicers pushing forward and all that. And then I was talking actually with a few people at the security hacking conference that I was at. Just tabletop conversation, and some of them are obviously, all of them were very security oriented and minded people. And we were talking a little bit about Orca, and how that new update from Bamboo kind of broke it, right? And we were talking about, is it actually like the security part that was needed in the software, or were they up to no good, right?
Who, Bamboo or Orca?
Bamboo. Like everybody has this so everybody has this conspiracy theory that Bamboo, and lots of big YouTubers too, like all the way up to Linus, it's on tracking mode. It's on my hand. There you go.
I was like, we could see your background now.
Yeah, well, you guys know there's a room back there. So Ray says no good. So here's the thing, though. They might be, but this update in itself doesn't mean no good. And actually, there's a topic coming up that kind of explains what can happen when the stuff is actually really up to no good. But like the general consensus around the table was, it's good, but they're probably up to something. Like that was the general. But
I think that what they're up to is to secure more profits for themselves. I think that's what they're up to. I don't know if they're doing anything other than wanting to adapt more ways to make themselves more money.
I agree. Now, when you look at Creality's oh goodness, I think they just call it Creality Print, honestly, still. But when you look at their 3D printing hosting emporium connector, like that one has paid models in it already, and I know that was a big thing till Bamboo added that addition to let people charge. And for the record, I am cool with that. I think if you make something neat and you want to charge people, the platform you share it on should let you charge people.
It's true.
I'm just ready to Bamboo to turn off all the printers in the U.S. So it would be interesting because all the printers in the U.S. should be registered to the U.S. servers.
Yeah.
But for
But
sure,
they could shut down the US servers, I
well,
suppose.
and that's it. Like right now,
Right?
we're in a spot kind of where we did it when we bought the Mosaic, right? And we had it happen with the Mosaic,
Yeah, that's a good point. Like
right? We
they
bought it,
pivoted their company
yeah,
and no longer really support their old product, so that old product is dead and gone, right?
yeah. Like we have a $2,000 door opener, basically. We
Another dead and gone product.
the list is actually very large. Some are more expensive, some are small. But like the companies pivot, they move on. And this is kind of an interesting thing in the 3D printing market because and I actually have it, you know what? I have it on the topic list lower. It's the second from the bottom. It's on topic. So, but like lots of companies pivot away from a product. Even Creality has done it. Except the difference with some of the stuff, especially the stuff like with open firmware, it doesn't matter. Pivot all you want. You can always make your own Marlin or Clipper, throw it on that printer, run Fluid, Mainsail, Octoprint, whatever it is, like or SneakerNet still, right? And I feel like with the Bamboo printers, the plug-in thing will always work no matter
Yeah,
what.
so far they've even made it so you can update the firmware via SneakerNet. So
Yeah. So I mean, like I feel like, but like, is there going to be a point where your printer moves past their will to support it? Probably.
Hmm.
We've seen it in other industries, especially where we're in. There's a company called Smart, and they sell these whiteboard mouse things. That's the best way to. You touched it, and
Interactive touch display for projectors.
and then they gave the software away when you bought the smartboard, and then they figured out, wait, people only have to buy one board every 10 years, and now everybody's bought one, and now our company isn't making money. So what do? They charge for the software. Oh, well, you only get this much
What
allotment for all of your product, and then you
you don't want to
pay.
buy our software anymore?
And then we're like, well,
Oh,
we don't want that. That's stupid. We just wanted the board, not your software, right? And so then everybody pivoted again. So like, is there a point in time where a product, flounders? And absolutely there is. There's product life cycles, right? There's the excitement, there's the initial uptake, right? And I think Bamboo Labs is still riding like that peak right now. They haven't quite come over the peak. If
I think
that
that's valid. That's valid. Like Prusa has always been more of a kind of a higher priced printer that's been kind of exclusive. So they've never really had a super peak. Like they've just been consistent at the one level. But
mhm.
it's Creality has had like ups and downs, right?
Well,
Depending on the product cycle, right? They have the ender big, and then it kind of dies off because Vorons and some of the other stuff come up, and then they come out with their K2 and they're back up, and then
oh,
right.
100%.
So
Yeah, 100%, right?
so it's
And
it's very cyclical, and people have to compete, but you have to
mhm.
be able to adapt. And I guess, are they trying to adapt before they need to try to pivot to some sort of profit, different type of profit stream or revenue stream? I don't know.
So, and here's the thing, like we have seen printers that have come from that introduction growth phase, and like the Ender 3 as an example. I would say that one's past maturity in decline.
Oh,
100% now,
They're
right?
still are they still good printers? Yes. Are
100%,
there
yeah.
way better printers for the same price now? Yes.
100%, yes. But the ender as it is now, like they have like the K and like the other one, the like that is not gone are the days of the old Ender 3s, right? The new
Right.
Ender 3s are fast printers, usually the Clipper guys.
Well, and
Um,
then there is a new one literally on the list. Is that what you're referring to further down the list?
yes, eventually, yes.
Yes.
The so Dominic makes a point. If a printer can't be rooted, it's scary, and Ray said the exact point. So let's touch Ray's. There's a printer called the Creality High, which is an Ender basically, that has the or KFC with it, right? Okay,
I have
CFS.
I have my screen shared if you'd like to see it.
I would love to. But then Dominic says if a printer can't be rooted, it's scary. And actually, I think the opposite way. If you can root a printer, it's scary.
Yeah, from
I'm
a security perspective, I agree with David on that one.
gonna
Because
turn
I
on your
mean,
screen share. Sorry.
but yeah, like I think that so this is the one that Ray's talking about, the High. It's finally available.
The ticket,
This is
yes.
basically a modern um, interpretation of the Ender 3 with all the modern new features and everything. Right, we've got the direct drive extruder right on board. We've got the CMS. We've got it's very much what the A1 plus, is that what it is, or the A1?
A1. There's
Yeah,
A1 and A1 Mini is the small
yeah.
one. Yeah.
So this is their version of the A1 basically. Um, so it's kind of interesting how they set the stage for, and then everyone copied them and iterated off of them, and now they're kind of doing the same thing with bamboo.
And to be clear though, too, like with high is a market disturber in this group of super low budget printers that can do multi printing like color because of the price. It comes in at $620 Canadian, right? So
Yeah,
you can buy the
that's
CF
pretty, really, when you think about it, that's pretty damn good.
right. The CFS itself, if you go to buy, it's about $400
Uh,
Canadian.
so
So you're spending
the printer only is $429 Canadian
right.
from our friends, and 619 with
Right.
the CMS, which is friggin' pretty amazing, really, that it comes
Well,
with
the
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 CMS.
math there is just like, but how? Where does the $200 go? Right, because that's what it should be. Because it should be about $800. So Creality is coming after this market, and there are a lot of printers in this space already.
Oh yeah.
Cobra A1, Elegoo made one. Like the CFS as a unit itself is fairly impressive when you look at the features it offers, like the heat, the filament drying, right? Like it it
So
actually fills in a lot of the places where I was like, wow, this could be better. And the crowd was like, okay, we'll make it better.
the Bamboo Lab A1 with AMS,
Yeah.
664.
Yeah.
So it's right on par. So it's then you just have to decide who's your flavor.
I mean, Dominic says if Crowley goes away or stops supporting my Enders, will still work. Interestingly enough, so will like your K1C, K2, and
Yeah.
the High series.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. If the company goes away, you want something that could still work. Now that, I mean, I'm gonna ask this question. You can answer, Greg. I'm gonna flip it back to the normal one too. How long does a product stay in current support?
And that's a really good question. Like we're in the nerdy IT industry here. We do network infrastructure and servers and whatnot, and you know typically 5 years is pushing it for some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and 7 years is when they stop completely supporting it in the tech sector. Now,
Yeah.
your retail is way shorter than that, right?
Way shorter. Yeah.
Your retail, if you have a model of PC, good luck getting a parts for it a year from now or 2 years from now. It gets by 2 years it's really difficult, and they've scaled up the pricing of the parts every year by 50% just so that you will just buy a new product.
Yeah. And
So
it gets to the point where, like, I look at my original Under 3 and my Sierra 10S, and like the 10S is 10 years old now almost.
yeah,
And like, the printers don't owe me anything. Two, they're not the regular printers that they were. Like we've upgraded it. We've
yeah,
talked about like
upgraded
how we
them,
can keep
changed
them
them. Yeah,
right. So like we use the platform, and the I feel you could use the platform of a Bamboo Lab if the company went out, and then just reduce some
you
firmware on it.
you totally can't, because you would have to do a little bit of rewiring
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. It would, some of the features and logic have to change how you would use them. Yes. Um, could you use Marlin on one of these? If you put in a new board, you could. You could even write some G-code scripts to actually do a purge and a wipe and all that kind of stuff at the back of the printer as well. It's a lot of work to do that. If you just wanted the standard printing and whatnot, you could totally rewire it and make it work. I took over there, I have a MakerBot replicator too that I put Marlin on, and it works fine.
Mm-hmm.
It prints fine. So
And
it's one of those things you can retrofit. Now, is it better if you don't have to? 100%.
probably. But the other thing too is I can see these printers like lasting in current support for a while,
I think
because
so.
we look at the X1 P1S series, especially from Bamboo Lab, A1 even. I mean, some of those will drop off as they have new models, but their platform seems very similar throughout, even though like the X1C or X1E, they have those premium features. The firmware remains fairly similar between them all. It's just the horsepower behind there. Like the X1 and the X1C, X1Es, they have better controllers in them. So there's more
You know,
memory, more runtime,
and,
that kind of stuff.
and some of it, the cost savings, like if you look at the X1 to the, what is it, the P1, they really do the
And he's gone again. We're gonna try the new thing next week. He's really gone this time. There he is. I'm gonna wait till he stops shouting at the camera. Okay, welcome back.
so what I was saying was the X1 and the P1, the main shell was exactly the same, right? The
Mm-hmm.
enclosure, one, they took off panels when they put on panels. One, they took the fancy touchscreen and went with the little tiny screen, right? So that
Yep.
was their cost savings, right? So there's lots of things you could completely take off a screen and then save money. When you sell a million of them without a screen, and definitely you're saving money, right?
Yeah,
So
and so Ray brings up a point, and um, I think we've talked about it actually before, but it's a good point to make again. Um, that the Bamboo Lab boards actually have like a digital thumbprint, a code that's written into them that makes it unique, which means that you can't actually handshake with some of the other stuff. So like so as an example, Greg
there's
has
other
a
printers.
MakerBot in his house that's not a MakerBot, right? He ripped the controller out and rebuilt
Mhm.
it, and that's what you would have to do to start as a platform
Mhm.
base with if you were going to rebuild. Um,
And we've done that. There was a printer that a colleague of ours got, and we ripped it apart and put a different board in it and whatnot so that he could use it. And same thing, right? If that company went out of business and didn't support the model anymore, but the kinematics were still strong.
Yeah.
The kinematics are strong with you.
Boo. So and then we'll wrap this into the one point. So when talking about printers and purchasing, there's lots of options, right? And we talked about a few already, but there's always two reasons people buy 3D printers. One is for the hobby, right? So one is I like electronics, I'm gonna buy a project platform. And the other one is I like the hobby, which is printing. I want to print models. I want to build things out of my 3D prints, and I don't want something that's like going to cause me problems. I just want to be able to print. So specifically, our good friend Dominic on Discord said, "Hey, should I do a Voron? Should I do K2 combo? I've been saving money. I got money for both. That's not a problem. Which one should I do?" That's a tricky question, but
it really depends. I know Dominic has I think it's an Ender 5, right, Dominic? And you've done a few changes here or there. I think you changed the main board. I don't remember if we discussed about that, but Voron's definitely a commitment on a build. So if you like tinkering, drilling, building, and whatnot, a Voron, it's going to cost you more than probably the K1 or K2, and you're going to have a lot of enjoyment if you like building that stuff, putting it together, and hours and hours of tweaking and this and that to get it going. The K2, you pull it out of the box and you print. So it's a little different.
Now Voron kits have matured a lot.
Oh, they have.
And the process is a lot easier than it used to be.
Yeah, because you don't have to source your own parts now. You can buy, basically everything in a box and bring in and build it.
It was funny because he mentioned something, or he said something, and I got a good chuckle out of it. He says, "At my age, I'm worried when there's a green banana in the bunch, right?" And like, I'm not saying that you have to consider that now. I'm just saying, like, that is a good consideration too. Like, do you want to just enjoy the thing right now and just get going? And
a Voron is a big bunch of green bananas.
A huge bunch of green bananas. It's all green bananas. The K2, although I haven't used it, I've heard good things about it. I have the K1C.
Yellow bananas.
Yes, yellow bananas. And okay, it hasn't happened yet. It's happening soon, probably, because as we know math, when you divide 12 by 4, you get 3. And Bamboo Lab said in the first quarter they're announcing a new printer, so it might be see what it is there, 12 by.
I like your math.
So so they said in the first quarter of 2025 they're announcing a printer, which is right now. So there might be something big coming from Bamboo Lab,
unless they change it to the first half.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if Bamboo Lab's like, here's the big announcement, it's a resin printer? Everybody'd be like, we're coming for you.
No one wants a resin printer.
So there's two ways I can see this going, right? Like, one way is it's just a giant printer, like they're going after the K2 size.
It's I'm going to start a rumor right here, right now. It's a 5-axis CNC.
Well, that was my other thought, but more likely would be a tool changer.
Right? Yeah, it could be. Well, so the
laser.
The rumor was, and some of the patents they showed was a head that tilted. So it would cut the filament, tilt it, you would load the next filament and whatnot, and so you don't have the purge, and then we switch back to your other color, it flips back, so it's like you can have different materials too, and it was quicker. So but within the head, so it's like 2 and it pivots. I don't know if that's the real thing or if that
So
was just a pattern, a patent that they threw out there as this
kind
could
of
be
cool.
cool,
Yeah.
right? I don't
The
know.
the thing with 3D printing is no matter which 3D printer you're after, it should follow the KISS philosophy. Keep
Keep
it
it
simple,
simple.
stupid. Because if you add more complexity, things will
Well, that's
break.
what I was thinking. I'm like that little pivot thing, like keeping it like just by slicing the filament and then pulling it out and not having a blob of hot material to plug up your PTFE tube when you pull it out and everything. That there's a reason why Creality copied that and everyone else is adding a cutter
Mhm.
to their stuff. They're like, we never thought of that, right? It's
Yeah.
like brilliant. But now I don't know if that little cutter and a tilt thing, I don't know if that would be, that seems more problem than
Ah,
anything else.
it totally does. And like the like we've seen systems like the chameleon and stuff where there's multiple ins and then they extract. And it feels like that's what they're going for, but like mechanically and it's like, no, no, don't.
Well, the chameleon was kind of like an AMS type system, right? Because
Totally. Yeah.
right, but it was just a different kind of layout for it. So
I
yeah.
thought I saw, I'm gonna Google it right now. Not that it's on topic, but um I thought I saw that like this was the last version or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I thought we were discussing that the other day. You and I. They
Yeah. Yeah, because it's on the MK4 and that's about it. Um Raymond says, look at the Ender 5 Max, nice big machine, and we'll be ready now anytime. And that's a cool point too. Like the Ender 5 series is really sweet. So like a Max would be pretty good. Um is the Max gonna have like the CMS and stuff or CFS? Let's just call it multicolor crap. Okay. Is it gonna have the multicolor crap? Do we know? That's the that's the
I
thing.
don't know. It's one of those things. Like I think they're gonna keep that to the K series, right? Because the Enders were still Marlin at one point, unless they're switching that up.
Well, here's the
Because the
thing
whole
though.
point of the K was Clipper, right?
It is true, but the Max definitely runs Clipper. So like as long as it's running the same firmware, you can they have links to it out. It's nice. It's 400 by 400 by 400. Um they're
I
touting
don't.
it as a 700 millimeter per second printer though, so it's definitely not like uh I don't think it will print that fast, just saying. But
Yeah.
like these other printers out are 600 millimeters. So as they're touting, like it's probably capable. The framing looks very good. Here, I will share my screen just so we can take a quick peek.
Sure.
Um, and it's not from our friends, so sorry, but so this is kind of what it looks like. They've done a lot of work actually upgrading like from the Ender 5. It's definitely a render because I've never seen a spool that nicely wound, and it looks like 3 millimeter filament at least. So it looks like, and it goes from like gray welding wire color to green in the back. So it's definitely a render, but like you could like the platform is there. It looks exactly um, like the K Fast Series stuff. Big print volume. Now keep in mind too, the K2 is 350.
300, isn't it? Or 350? Is it 350?
Yeah, it's 350, and this one is 400. So this one is
On,
giving you a
on
little more.
honestly, like I have big printers. Like I've got a big printer there that can print almost 400.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I've used it twice to print something that big.
yeah, and the
And
thing,
that's the thing. If you have a business or something and you need to do big objects and stuff and whatnot, okay, I
yeah,
can see a use case. But for majority of stuff that 90% of people do, I don't think you need it.
now
But then 90% of people don't need a Suburban. But
but hey, they're out there.
Right?
Um,
It's a preference, right?
looks like
So
the
if
kit
you,
too has a redesigned build plate too. It's an epoxy build plate, which I hate already, but that's fine. Um, so they're saying that you can use a lower temperature to print, and they're using PLA as an example. So with their epoxy build plate, it's 45 degrees versus 60. And how long is that epoxy build plate going to last?
I don't
Because
know.
it's the actual epoxy
Hey,
transition,
that's another way you can make money is have build plates that die really quickly, so you have to buy more at
right?
$30 a pop.
Just bam, bam, bam.
Bam, bam,
Mine's
bam,
broken
boo.
already, right? Like I don't know. These just sell lots of Petchy, and then you have to sell more build plates because people always forget to put a transition layer down. Um,
Do you want to talk some out of this world stuff or no?
the world stuff.
Yeah, out of this world stuff.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Okay.
I don't
So
know
so
all of it.
continuing our little news and whatnot, uh, the first metal 3D printed objects have returned from space. I thought that was kind of cool that they on the International Space Station they've been experimenting with 3D printing and whatnot. And I have some pictures up if y'all are interested,
Bam.
because they in the future, they will you know they may need parts or may need to replace stuff and whatnot. So having a way to do that in space is cool. But what happens to the material properties in a micro G environment, right? And that's what they're trying to discover. So they have
And he's gone again. Oy vey. I'm gonna talk for him here because I know exactly what he's saying. No, I'm just kidding. I'll bring him back. That's more nice, right?
yeah, what did I go away?
Yep.
What happened?
That I don't know. You dropped again.
Oh, weird. So these are some of the test articles that they've printed, and they brought them back. Looks like a few of them either failed to print or broke during the return process. Not sure, but they can test the adhesion layers and whatnot, and do all the stress tests to see if how to optimize printing in a micro G environment. So it's kind of neat. So I thought that was kind of a cool topic just to throw in. What do you think
Hmm?
of space printing, David?
Honestly, they already have replicators somewhere up there, so it's old news.
Earl Grey hot.
There's lots of scientific things sometimes that you go, why did we even need to test that? But the micro G on stresses of 3D printing is actually a good one because there's a lot of like instant parts that could be created in emergency situations and stuff, and
Hmm.
knowing how that material handles and stuff would be really,
Well, and
really
then can you print with regolith on the moon? Right? Like there's different like materials that you can do. Like if we need to build shelters for astronauts on the moon and stuff, like what how could you do that? Well, 3D printing, processing, some regolith and adding some sort of, you know, resin or something into it so that you can make building blocks. It's
hmm
kind of or something. It's kind of cool. So
somebody has a
yeah.
patent on that, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Anyway, I just thought that was neat, so I thought I'd throw that in there and whatnot. So yeah.
I like it. So, um, cause I don't know a good way to transition to this topic, but let's just talk about it. So, like Arduinos are a thing. They're neat things.
Yep.
Also, ESP32s are neat things.
Yes. And becoming more and more popular nowadays with with
100%.
with hobbyists and whatnot, and their different type of networking protocol because you can do Wi-Fi and Bluetooth right off the board. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
And like there are projects already that utilize ESP32s that you can use right now. So if you use a Bamboo Lab printer that still has the firmware kind of on the opener-esque side, there's a thing called X Touch, which is like the Bamboo Touch, and you can throw that on there, and it's really, really great.
Or like the Panda Touch, you mean?
Yeah, Panda Touch. Sorry, yeah, Panda Touch. So, and then there's lots of different projects to control other things in your 3D printer. You can use them as sensors and stuff too.
CAN bus sniffers. There's
Bus,
lots
yeah.
of cool things you can do with it. My daughter is building it's called Orbi. It's a clock.
Yeah.
It's got like 5 or 6 little round displays that are run off.
And he's gone again. Okay, next time he goes away, let's just pretend that he was here the whole time and he'll never know. No, you gotta look happier before I put you back on stream. Okay, that's better.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay,
Anyway,
so you said Orbi 5 displays.
So it's a little, so she can like display like a clock or the weather and whatnot, and it's just this, it's a simple project you can load on these boards. So it's really cool, some of the stuff you can do. But there's been a lot of people, a research paper company released that they think they found a back door. Now it turns out that the research paper company that was putting it out was literally an advertising company, and it was like stuff. So like it was kind of interesting to read some of the articles about this, and the stuff they found was debugging code, but in order to access the debugging code, you physically have to plug it in to get direct access to the device, which is how you load the software on the device anyway. So it's not really a backdoor.
So, like, as far as backdoors goes, it is a backdoor, but it's an intentional backdoor because you need to be able to plug your thing in and debug it.
But in my mind, a backdoor would be you loaded the software, right? This is in my mind, and tell me if I'm wrong. You load the software, it's running the software. You no longer have a USB connection. You've got your Bluetooth and you got your Wi-Fi and your little expressive network that they have that the two devices can talk to. And then you're able to leverage one of those wireless environments to then get control or connect to the device and take control of the device somehow. So that, in my mind, is a true backdoor.
So the thing
that's
is,
not what we're talking about here.
You're on the right track. Like, but a backdoor, even anything that lets you command, control, or alter an object that isn't, and then use it for its unintended purpose, is a backdoor. But again, like, I don't know if I would count this one, a debugging thread, as a backdoor.
Yeah, and they said that if people are that concerned about it, they'll make sure they remove it from their code because it's not a backdoor. And fine,
well, again,
remove it. It was like it was there, so it's a hobby thing for you guys to test with. But if you don't want it,
yeah, well, like, because there is different versions of the ESP32 boards, obviously. Like the light beside me or in front of me are they're ESP32s, right? Like
a lot of the smart home type stuff uses it, right?
They're a robust development environment with a lot of applications. Like, for example, like I took one to the hacking conference that's subverted into something that it should never, be doing. And it's actually like more capable than the Flipper Zeros ever were. And it's just a ESP32 development board with a screen and a few antennas, right?
Right.
So like, yeah, they do many things very, very well. It's just, again, intent is always golden.
You can take a 3D printer board and do malicious stuff with it, right? if you do right, you can take a cell phone and do malicious stuff with it. You can take anything, and if you wanted to do malicious stuff, you probably could. The point is, it was not designed intentionally for you to do malicious stuff. It was designed for you to be creative, and some people like to do malicious things in their creativity.
Well, and backdoors are unfortunately a reality of the time we live in. AMD's had them,
Mhm.
Intel's had them, Realtek's had them, right? And those ones are
Right.
big problems when it comes to, because they're not just like ESP32. It's a platform in itself, but like those other things build a platform, and that's why
Yes.
they become a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Um, as you get more and more hardware, the easier it is to sync the
I
shit.
am glad that people are pounding these things and trying to find the holes,
Mhm.
um, because we need more of that kind of stuff so that when they do expose the holes and whatnot, they can be addressed, and maybe they'll find something that's you look like they found those really hard to exploit execution pieces in the Intel chips and the AMD
Mhm.
chips, like they're very, very difficult to exploit, but they're there, right? This microcode execution exploits. But just having the people that just try to find that stuff, I mean, we need more of that kind of stuff so that we can have better, more secure products.
Yeah, the sad part is the red team is outpacing the blue teams when it comes to secure and control. There's more
Yeah.
money in red teaming. So,
Yeah.
but on that topic, I'm gonna move along to one of the last ones and fix the thing I clicked. It's not locked. That's weird. Anyway, so I was at the event was called Hack Alberta. It's a security conference, where we do hack, and there was other things that happened. But one of the things, um, was one of the events was Hack a Robot, and the fellow brought one of the presenters brought it's called the Scout 32. So this is what it looks like. It's a 3D printed Scout 32 that runs off of an ESP32. The ESP32 then has a board that has a camera attached to it,
Nice.
and the project itself is all 3D printed. So like even everything from the tire treads to most of the gears, there's a few bearings obviously and screws that you
Yeah, yeah.
um but so there's all the things a good RC would have. So like speed controllers, converters, capacitors. You could run it off of any kind of battery system you want to, but you could see there's a bigger version and a smaller version. The smaller version is actually like the original, and the bigger one was the afterthought. Um,
It's
but
still kind of cool.
it is very neat, and so like these little rovers, as an RC, are cool. Um, but like, here's kind of like what the control looks like. So it's a web interface, and then you can, move forward, backwards, left, right, and in this web interface. So the range on it is actually pretty good because it's using Wi-Fi signal, instead of like an RF receiver, which actually for the size of it gives it greater range. There's a couple options for
So you
building.
could have it patrol your entire house.
Yes. So here's the thing. The person who brought it to the hacking event that we were at, um, there's hackers among us called pen testers, and pen testers exist on the blue team. So like the blue team is what probably they used to call white hat, probably back in the day, if you remember what white hat hackers were. But the blue team exists to stop intrusion or to mitigate problems. Well, the red team is where pen testers live, mostly, and they
Yeah,
exist.
they're trying to poke
They're
holes.
they're ethical hackers, but they do things that the red hat or the bad actors would do, and this was part of his toolkit. What he would do is he put the little rover in a ceiling, and then he could drive it over people's offices and leave it there, and then they'd start talking, and then he could hear what they were talking about, right? So I looked at the cost. You can buy these ready made for about 50 American. You can make it yourself with the parts slightly cheaper. It's probably about 35 Canadian. Um, but a device like this in one, it's a cool little toy, but two,
It is. It
in
is.
the hands of like security professionals, it can be something that could subvert some security control systems and get you, as I said, pen testing wise, into a position of where you'd want to overhear like passwords or authorization codes or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then again, the only difference between, I'll throw it out there, the only difference between a pen tester and an unethical hacker is permission.
That's true.
Um, so
A
when
pen
you look at
tester was asked to hack your network.
exactly, they have the, but the guy that's not in your network with permission or ransoming you does not. So, but this is a cool little project, and I am bringing it to life. So I will show you as we go along progress and stuff. Like,
You started printing one?
I started sourcing parts and printing. I'm gonna build the little one first and see how it goes. The big one is the full build plate size on a K1C, like the
Right.
chassis of the vehicle. So, but we'll see. We'll see. The I think I'm gonna go with the motor version. Just because I think I have a little more granular control, but there's servo version too. But yeah, basically, this the Scout 32 runs off the ESP board, and then there's a camera bus. You
I
can
have a
see it
spare.
kind of
I have a
here.
spare ESP board.
Ooh, here's the little camera. So, um, it should be pretty fun, easy to make, and it's a neat little 3D printed project that has real world application. So that's kind of why I wanted to share that one today. One is we'll be making it, but two, the real world application of such a device, I think is very neat. The it advances the toolkit of people in the pen testing profession, and it also is it's a fun little toy. So we did not actually hack that one either. To be clear, what we did was to hack into the robot. It was kind of neat. You had to find it, and it starts with a clue with the MAC address of the Wi-Fi adapter, and that's all you get. So you use the Wi-Fi adapter to find out like what town it's in, where it is, and then eventually you could break into it. So it was a very like hacking into the device was an
So the device wasn't present on site?
the device was online on site,
Oh, okay.
and then it did briefly connect to the on-site Wi-Fi and then off again. So then you basically, so you got a picture of it, and you had to find from the picture you found out where it was
Roughly.
actually made, and then you could take the MAC address and find out where that MAC address was registered, and like from there you could find the IP address, and then from there you could actually get into it.
So no one actually hacked it though.
Yeah, I did, and
Oh, you were able to get it
yeah,
to move?
yeah.
Or
So
what was
I
the
did, and
hack? You
Liam
had to
did.
get it to move, or you had to get a
You
picture
had to
from it?
you had to take control of the robot, because once you take control of it, you have that full interface, so you can move it and take a picture or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
but it was a fun little project, and it's a fun little rover too. So it shall be built.
Neat.
And now that Greg's back, we're gonna
I'm honestly I think next week I'm going to unplug from my current network infrastructure and go back to my old network infrastructure and see if that makes a difference. Because I'm wondering if there's some sort of problem going on that I'm not aware of. So we'll see if that makes a difference. Because if it does, then I've got some patching to do.
I mean, d- double natting is always recommended on any network. He's gone again. He's gone again. Okay, let's make fun of him when he comes back, though. Once I find out where he is. Okay.
I'm back.
Okay, you better talk about what you're doing really fast so that when you drop again, it's okay.
Well, we don't have to talk about that. It's all right. We don't
I
have
wanted
to.
to talk
I just
about it.
so I gutted my garage to make room for my CNC, and in order to do that, I had like some shelving up, and in order to fit my tools underneath the shelving, like it was like kitchen cupboards.
It's definitely me.
I had to take everything out of those cupboards and move them up 4 inches and then put everything back. And so when I was doing that, I was
Raymond, I was really tempted to do it just once and it be me, but it's not. I'm going to take away his talking privileges here. Hold on. Hi. It's really good to see you again.
I don't know what's going on. Like all my lights are blinking over there.
So I've heard collab cam is an issue, so we might want to try that video ninja I found next week.
We could maybe try that next week. Maybe we'll do some testing on the Saturday or something, and then
we can see how that goes.
Anyway, long story short, I now have a permanent home for my CNC machine.
Yes, it's CNC.
And so then now, one of the things I wanted to ask the community, anyone who has CNCs, mine has the probe to set your cut height, initial cut height, and for your tool and whatnot. And I've seen a lot of people with the tool change button so that it does the height. And is that something that I should look into, or should I just deal with change the tool, rehome the height to verify that the new tool height is right, and then go by continue my project kind of thing?
That's a tricky one because like you'd have to go tool head changer, right?
No, you set it to go to a spot and you manually change it, but because the cutoff tool for the next pass might be a different height, so then you got to set your height. So all this does is it goes down, touches the sensor at the top automatically, and then sets your tool height, so you don't have to. So you can nest multiple tool paths with the tool change in one go, so you don't have to start a new job as new tool path every time. I don't know. It's an efficiency thing, and I just wasn't sure if that's something I should pursue.
Yeah, like mine is just all manual anyway, right? So I've never done
it. And right now mine is too. But I was looking, and you can use G28, G38, G54, G55 to store locations on your surface of your tool. So you could have like G54 could be your known position for your tool setter, right? And then you could use G38 as the known start position for the current project you're on. So like you 0 it off, and that's where your tool always starts. So then when you go to do the tool change, you do the tool set, and then you run the G38 or whatever to go back to the project start. So it starts at the exact height because you set your offset for your height, and then it goes. So I'm learning nerdy stuff about Gerbil G code and how to implement it in scripts and stuff, and trying to think about workflows. And so I just thought it'd be interesting. and I wasn't sure how much of that you've done, if you've done any of that. And I know you've got a little CNC, but I know you've played with more with your lasers lately. I don't know if you've been CNCing much.
No, not so much CNC. I think that time will start up again in the summer, but definitely the lasers. Maybe Dominic. Maybe we'll turn it a game for the Patreons. If people wanted to give a whirl at hacking a robot, maybe that can happen on the Patreon side.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We'll put it in Greg's house though, so that when the camera turns on, it's not my house.
We'll put it in my garage and you can see how messy it is.
We'll keep it in the fridge, and all you see is bottles of wine. Where am I? But anyway, I'm gonna do the thing quick here. So thank you all for watching, coming. Hope you liked today's show. Like and subscribe, share if you did. Remember, you can follow us on patreon.com/3dmakeit. That gets you access to the Discord and maybe a hackathon. Who knows? But we sure appreciate everybody coming today, and thank you for being patrons. It helps keep all the little things on, like the website and like the broken software apparently there right now.
Yeah, the software that we're using, which is amazing.
But we sure appreciate you guys coming, and we will definitely see y'all next week. So have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.